Chapter 8. The weak part of the plan. Drake, Julia started. Yes? This was the first time I saw eyes to eye with a Cyclops, and it was the last one. I'm fine by that. Let's head back to the mountains. We can spend the night there. It's not that late yet, but we need to be rested for tomorrow, when we strike. As they made their way back to the mountains, something stopped them. Turn around, quickly! Drake suddenly shouted. He spotted a few of Mordor's followers on the top of the mountains. They've been here, one of them said as he grabbed a big white Pegasus feather off the ground. The roar came from the dark forest, another one of them said. Meanwhile, Drake, Harold, and Julia had already turned around. They're on to us, Drake said. Let's go towards the palace. It should be close to the dark forest. Soon enough they were able to see the palace from a distance, but when they did, they saw something very disturbing. The whole palace was taking fire. Everywhere were giant spiders, trolls, ravens, followers, and in fury, dead bodies controlled by a necromancer. No, Drake said, shocked. This can't be. We have to go to Calypso. Drake, no, Julia shouted. We have to go on. Only we know how to defeat Mordor. Drake wanted to say no, but he understood what the smartest thing to do was. All right, we have to go north. That's where Mordor's castle is. They turned around and headed north. They flew over the forest and eventually over Persos, and as if everything hadn't already turned dark, Persos was completely burned down. The houses were destroyed, no one to see, and full of ash. The trees were black and the leaves had evaporated. This can't be real, Drake said, even more shocked. Drake, we really have to go on, Haru said. They went on. As Drake laid eyes on a tall, black, dead tree rising above the forest, he asked himself what he had done again. What have I done? Drake, it's not your fault, Julia tried to make him realize. But Julia, try to understand. Almost all of Dragonia tried to help and protect me, and if they hadn't, the king of the forest wouldn't be dead, the great tree wouldn't be a scorched piece of wood sticking up above the forest, and Dragonia wouldn't be in such danger. Drake, you listen to me. This war is not your fault. If you can somehow end this, everyone in Dragonia will turn to you, this time not with such expectations, but with gratitude. You have caused nothing of this, but if you care about this world, then you yourself should want to help, instead of seeing it as an obligation. Screw the prophecy. Do what you think is right. Might I say something? Haru asked. What is it? Julia said, a bit angry. We might want to talk a little less loud next time. We're overheard. They were being chased by a few followers of Mordor. They have ash devils? Drake called out. What are ash devils? Julia asked worriedly. Creatures that live in ash. The more you burn, the more you create. Careful, if I'm correct, they can throw balls of fire. At that moment, a fireball flew right by Haru's head. You could have said that a little sooner. Sorry, we have to lose them. Follow me. Arion dove down, while a few fireballs flew by his head and wings. The Hippogriff and Pegasus followed. For Arion, it wasn't that hard to dodge the fireballs, but the other two had a little more trouble. When they passed the forest and were all flying really close to the ground of the dragon fields, the ash devils kept throwing their fireballs. The dragons watched as their field started burning because of the fireballs and got angry, so they rose up and started attacking the followers and the ash devils. They didn't stand a chance as they were torn apart by the dragons. Ha! Haru shouted. That's what happens when you mess with us. Stop laughing, Haru, that looks extremely cruel, Julia said with a little disgust. They had it coming. Drake looked at what was happening, and the success of his plan caused him to smile a little, which had not happened in a long time. The dragon fields were extremely large, but their mounts were fast, so it didn't take them long to get to a new area. Over the area they were flying were dark clouds, which emitted lightning bolts every now and then. Look, Julia said. She was pointing down to a ravine. As if it couldn't be more dangerous, the bottom of the ravine was filled with boiling hot lava. Only one wooden bridge crossed the ravine. How the wooden bridge hadn't burned down because of the heat yet was a mystery to them. Whoa, Haru said in astonishment. That's the castle, Drake said. Let's lower. It's too dangerous to fly through the lightning. As usual, Arion descended right away, followed by Saphira and the Hippogriff. They landed past the wooden bridge. Okay, here's the plan, Drake said as they all dismounted. Suddenly, Drake was interrupted by a loud, dark voice. Drake Fannings. What is that? Julia asked, frightened. Many have tried to defend you. Some were wounded, but most have given their lives for you while you hid. Don't listen to him, Drake. It's not your fault, Julia told him. Drake, I know you're there. Come in, alone. Come and fight me. Give yourself to me, and I might just spare a few. You have 10 minutes until I slaughter every living being that tried to defend you. Drake's expression changed drastically. He seemed really scared. Drake, don't go, Julia said. Yeah, dude, you're gonna get all the credit, Haru said as a joke, with the intention to lighten up the mood. Guys, I have to go. By the way, Mordor doesn't know we have, I hope. He knew you were in front of his castle. He knew you were here, Julia pointed out. Still, if I don't make it... No, Julia interrupted him. That's not going to happen. Drake, don't go. You need us. I'm sorry, but it's time. If I don't come back, Drake... Good luck, Julia interrupted him again. She hugged him firmly and really didn't want him to go, but she knew it was their only option. Hey, good luck, dude, Haru said, trying to hide his worries about Drake. And hey, if you don't come back, I'll come and hit you in the face. Drake chuckled a bit. Haru, don't, Julia said as she let go of Drake. It was just a joke. See, he chuckled, he answered. A few silent seconds. I really need to go. We know, Julia said to her regret. Drake started walking towards the castle. In the area that he was in, he heard all kinds of frightening sounds. Sounds of crows, bats, and more unidentifiable sounds. Drake heard something that sounded familiar too. It sounded like a dragon. Drake then realized Arian had told him Mordor was a dragon rider as well. Drake started envisioning what he would face once he entered. When he stood in front of the doors, he paused and looked up. The castle was gigantic, completely black, covered in grey fog. Drake kept looking up until the doors opened on its own. Here goes nothing, Drake said to himself. He entered watchfully. After walking through the entrance, he stumbled upon another huge door. He opened it and entered a big open room. The room was decorated with weapons attached to the walls. He was getting second doubts when he saw the room and wondered if he could still go back, but soon enough he got his answer. The room suddenly got lit by blue fire on the torches on the walls. In the middle of the room, a dark particle sword appeared. Out of the darkness he arose. Mordor. Drake's heart stopped for a second. You're here, Mordor said. Mordor grinned and looked Drake straight into his eyes. How unfortunate. I expected you'd be a little older. As if it matters, Drake said. How did you expect I'd look? Exactly like this. Drake looked at where the snarling of a dragon came from. He looked at a corner in the room covered in shadow. All he could see were huge white teeth and two bright red eyes moving slightly. Don't mind paying attention to him. He won't do you harm, for now. Now, before you die, which I assume you knew was inevitable, you deserve to know my story. I was once pitiful, Ralph Warris. I always had the talent of taking the lead on things. When one day I found this world, I knew what my destiny was. So you're human? Drake asked. Haha, not anymore. Yeah, I had quite figured out you lost any trace of humanity long ago. Humanity is a race meant to rule. If anything, I'm more human than anyone. I'm disgusted you see it that way. No matter. When I found this world and started working on my goals, I had to take control of the lands. First Dragonia, then Rosium, and then our world. So I created an army, strong enough to take control. But then out of nowhere this prophecy appeared, and when I finally managed to get together an army big enough, you showed up. But I never believed the prophecy anyway, so you die tonight. Not if I can do something about it. Drake rushed towards him, revealing a fiery sword he had hidden on his back. He ran towards him, and without thinking he swung the sword against Mordor. But it rebounded and Drake was automatically pushed backwards. It had no effect at all. Mordor started laughing. He grabbed Drake by his shirt and took away the sword. You really thought that would work? Mordor threw away the sword. There can't be, Drake said. Understand, Drake, I am immortal. I cannot die. Then why do you want to kill me that bad? Mordor seemed to be caught off guard, and for some reason refused to answer truthfully. It doesn't matter. It's my destiny to control, and you are a nuisance that needs to be taken care of. Drake managed to get away by getting his shirt torn. He ran as fast as he could towards the open door. Don't you run, Mordor shouted angrily. Mordor made the decorative weapons move away from the walls and fly towards Drake. He barely managed to dodge every one of them, but with great effort. Drake managed to get through the entrance and saw his friends in the distance. Go! Drake shouted. What happened? Julia asked. Just go! As fast as possible, Harold and Julia climbed on top of their hippogriff and Pegasus. Mordor had also made it outside. He moved his arms forwards and then upwards. All the lava in the ravine rose up into the air. It came so high that the wooden bridge caught on fire and melted away instantly. If any spell cast to be resistible to the heat, this was still too much. The lava dropped again, and Sapphira, with Julia on her back, came towards Drake to pick him up. Drake managed to get onto Sapphira in time, and they flew away again. They wanted to cross the ravine again, but Mordor moved the lava upwards again. Aryan wanted to get to Mordor to distract him, but couldn't pass. Sapphira had to dodge the lava, which came so close that it scorched part of their clothes. The string of Julia's necklace burned, and the stone attached to it fell into the ravine. No! The lava lowered slowly, but because Sapphira was still backing off, she flew so steeply that Drake was unable to hold on. Ah! Drake, no! Julia screamed. Underneath Drake, the lava and the ravine lowered again. Drake managed to grab a hold of an edge as he was falling. He received a huge, painful blow when he hit the rocky wall. Harold and his hippogriff descended and landed. Harold ran towards Drake and tried to reach for him. Julia and Sapphira did the same. In the meantime, Aryan got to Mordor and tried to attack him. He spit fire, but Mordor shielded himself without much effort. Harold and Julia both managed to grab a hold of one of each Drake's hands. They pulled him up. They mounted the hippogriff and Pegasus again. Aryan! Drake shouted. Aryan joined them and they flew away. Mordor looked at them getting away furiously. Behind Mordor, smoke appeared and the snarling of his dragon came closer. We're gonna go at this differently, Tyro, Mordor said. Patience.